Wow, we're doing this.
We're doing it.
This is Julian Shaw. I'm the director of Views Me.
I'm Ceara Lynch.
Who are you?
Ceara Lynch.
Oh, okay. And you're in this movie?
I am in this movie.
Right.
Actress and producer.
Oh, nice. That's Sarah Armanius, amazing actor from Australia.
Also, your real-life ex-girlfriend.
No, I met her on the set of this movie.
No, you didn't.
No, that's not true. We did go out for 10 years. We're great friends now. God, I mean, we'll get to it in the heavy scenes later, but yeah, while we were breaking up, I started making this film and ended up writing our breakup into the story.
That's awesome.
Life imitating art.
She is a really good actress.
Oh, I agree. She's amazing.
She's really, really good. I remember my mom saying, like, well, I don't mean to jump ahead, but
Please.
during the breakup scene, she's like, wow, she did really well, and didn't realize that was real footage.
Yeah, we'll get into the behind the scenes of that. No, she's incredible. We met in drama class in high school, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Speaking of life imitating art, this guy in the scene, Dov Kornitz, he gave me my first ever job at Film Inc. magazine. I was a film journalist when I was a teenager. Did you know that?
Yeah, you showed me a magazine where you're interviewing some pretty big celebrities.
It was awesome. I mean, like, my first gig was Anne Hathaway. He was like, all right,
yeah.
so, when you finish school, you just got to go to this hotel suite and Anne's going to be waiting for you. I was like, this is a goddamn dream job.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like my first film school. I learned a lot meeting all those people. Oh, who's this pretty young lady?
That's me.
Oh, yeah.
Like he froze his brows there.
He was, people just don't really get it.
Well, he already knew, right? Or did you surprise him in that interview?
No, I mean, again, and this is the whole thing about fiction versus reality. I mean, this scene is scripted. Yes, he's a real person, quote unquote. But, this was shot well into production.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff people are like, well, this is all real. This is all documentary. It's like, no, it's all constructed. Mm-hmm. Like, how people kind of are saying, well, like the first half is a documentary. I mean, everything we've seen so far is scripted.
Right. I mean, this scene right here, this is actually in my office.
Yeah, you're in the house, right? You're
right. We're both in the same house doing that Skype interview, which is, that always throws me off because I recognize that painting in the background.
Yes.
But of course, no one else
No one knows that. But we're sort of replicating the real Skypes that we did have. I mean, how did this come about?
You emailed me.
I did.
And you found me jerking off on Pornhub.
That's not what happened. I was jerking off on YouTube, actually.
Excuse me.
So, one of your pirated clips is the reason that you have a feature film made about your life. So,
ironically, yeah.
Thanks, piracy.
Yeah. Thanks, porn piracy.
Yeah. But we have talked about that because that's a big thing for you. You lose business. I lose business as a filmmaker. It's something we both go through.
Right.
And yet, there is something to be said for a little bit of piracy.
It is. Yeah. No, it's very true. I've had like HBO find me that way. You found me that way.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, having a little bit of stuff out there for free is good publicity.
Yeah. So I wrote to you, and I didn't say I was jerking off, but I did say, what did I say?
That you were working on a docuseries called Me Incorporated about entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And that you wanted to do something about me. And that also you were in that film that went viral called the Marriage Equality one.
It's time. Yeah,
It's time. So that's what really tipped me off. I was like, oh, I know who this is, because I had actually posted that on my Facebook like 2 years prior.
That's so amazing.
And so that legitimized you to me.
Oh, good. I wasn't just a panty sniffer at that point.
No.
I mean, subsequently I was revealed to be a panty sniffer, but initially...
And making it big on your own terms.
You can rise from the bottom to the top in America.
It draws people in from all over the world. I mean, look at you. You're from Australia, and you're making a movie in America. So I think that's proof that you're trying to live the American dream, too.
So I guess the American dream was kind of on my mind during all this,
Yeah, that makes sense, especially as an outsider. I think that whole concept is very intriguing.
Yeah, I have a very different take on it to you. I mean, I think to you think the American dream is this kind of antiquated concept. For me, that was kind of the whole point of like, look at how this person, Ceara Lynch, makes her money, right? This being a modern day entrepreneur, and then compare that to what the original notions of the American dream were. I just liked the contrast of that.
Madison!
That beard is beautiful.
I know. Madison has been beard and mustache world champion twice in a row.
Shout out to that beard.
Yeah, we love Maddie.
I know. He's a great cinematographer, too. I think that he's shaving the beard.
He's more than just a beard, Julian.
I know that. It's not all about the beard.
Did you say he's going to shave it?
I think so.
Be amazing.
So this was not the first time we met, but my editor was like, God, we just need something where it seems like you're meeting for the first time. And then we found this, and away we went. I mean, it's such a jumble.
And this bugs me. It's coming. Oh, there it is. See? No one notices this.
Uh-huh.
But all of a sudden I have bangs and my hair is down. It's a huge continuity issue. For me, no one else notices.
Right.
But these two footage, the one where I'm answering the door and this right here was filmed 4 years apart.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
See how much younger and youthful I am?
Oh,
so full of hope and promises.
Great. I know. And then I just broke you down.
Crushed me.
Yeah. But no, it's funny. People don't notice. And I tell you, I went to film school, and one of the first things they said was don't worry about continuity. Tell your story. I mean, worry about it. Try your best. But if it comes down to telling the story better versus continuity, don't pick continuity.
Fair enough. I'm just shocked because it's I have bangs. It's a totally different hairstyle.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, so this was actually really early stuff we shot. This was when it still was a documentary, some of this footage. Because I came to meet you, like you said, I thought I was going to do this docu-series, and you were going to be one of the people in it. Mm-hmm. And there were 3 days where we really were making a documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, you were just following me around with a camera. I was telling you what I do. That was me, or this is me explaining my custom videos, reading some to you.
Uh-huh.
And then the clips, people probably know this, but this sort of thing right here, those are my actual videos that I saw.
And then what happened? We got to the end of it. I think we had good rapport. I think we wanted to do something.
I think what happened was you realized that my life was very boring and therefore not interesting as a documentary subject.
Well, you were too well adjusted.
Right. There is stories have to have conflict and story arcs and all that sort of thing. And I do still kind of live a fairly, just good, fun life.
Yeah.
But it's not particularly interesting, I think, as a story.
It wasn't that I was looking for you to be a victim or something, because I think that's so played out. But you look, I'd made 2 documentaries before, and you realize the conflict is the petrol in the tank that fuels the whole thing.
Oh, this is my mom's favorite part right here, by the way. My lawyer.
It's a real lawyer.
That is my real lawyer.
This is real. This got a laugh at screenings. You know. Selling your poop is living the American dream.
Yeah, she loved that.
I mean, it kind of is, that notion of, hey, if the market will bear it, then go for it. I mean, if you can monetize your feces, you've made it.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you've made it.
I turned shit into gold.
Literally. And then all this stuff is true. I mean, this is the closest thing to pure documentary.
Right, this first 20 minutes or so where I'm just talking about my job.
Yeah, well, you say 20 minutes. This sequence is a pretty long montage, I will admit. I would like to trim this down a bit. It's 5 minutes, but it's all...
I really thought it was 20 minutes.
It feels like 20 minutes.
I think it's fine. I think it's a good length.
Okay, look, because
especially for people that have no idea what I do.
That's right.
A lot of those people are why didn't you just do a documentary on her, a real one? Because they are very intrigued by this part.
Well, this is what was going to be the documentary.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there wasn't 90 minutes in it. It just runs out of steam.
Yeah.
Because it can't just be, weird sexuality and kinky fetishes.
Right. It's wow, look at this. Well, look at this. And let's talk to one of her clients. Mm-hmm. And then the end.
So is this diamond experience thing real?
This is not real.
Oh.
You made this up.
Oh, yeah. And, here, I mean, we're already starting to blend the fictional story in with the documentary stuff.
It is true that I have a psychology degree.
Yeah.
But I'm not so pretentious as to think that I'm taking my clients on as therapy subjects.
No, I'm so pretentious that I wrote that storyline. But again, everything was inspired by reality, because I feel some of these guys do get therapeutic benefits.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I don't think what I do is therapy, but it can be therapeutic.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. What have guys said? That you're someone they can talk to, they can open up to you in a way they can't to other people?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you have weird fetishes, you're probably not maybe telling your wife about it or people close to you. And then there's someone like me who is of no consequence in your life. It's easier to open up.
Do you have any fetishes?
I'm not going to tell you that.
I thought this was meant to be a tell-all commentary.
No.
Well, can you just say yes or no? You don't have to tell me what they are.
No.
No, you don't? Or no, you're not going to answer?
No, I don't.
Okay. See, okay, the reason I'm asking is I just have this theory that, men have these hardwired fetishes. I have a couple myself, and you just can't lose it. It's kind of with you for life. I just don't see women being that one-track minded. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think my interests have always been kind of fluid and changed throughout the years and not too hardwired, as you say. It's not like a broken record, like playing in my mind all the time.
Right.
But there's certain things that, I lean towards or am more interested in than others.
Sure. But I think a lot of women, in my experience, are more fluid or will say, oh, this guy's into that, and therefore let me explore that with him.
Yeah, totally.
Rather than driving it.
There's Mandy.
Yay.
Some more friends.
All your buddies.
So we got Mandy. We've got Astrodomina. Miss Forbid. Getting spanked right there.
When people saw this scene, they were like, good to see you working hard in Portland, Julian. I mean, it's funny. It's like even this stuff. Oh, God, I don't want to harsh. Look, this was fun to shoot. I'm not going to lie. But it's like you're still doing a shot list and directing people in between. And let's we need more of this or more of that.
Right.
But it was fun. I'm not going to lie.
I feel like they stripped, what's-her-face just stripped off your boxers.
Oh, they did.
Unprovoked.
They went crazy.
Yeah.
This went far beyond what I had written for people to do. Oh, Portland's so beautiful. I love this town.
You got so many good shots of just the city.
Thank you.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, I went all over. And day 2. That really all was one day. That was probably more like 2 years collapsed into one day.
Yes.
But hey, we're making a movie here.
Hey,
now, do you know that guy? Oh, that is your dad.
It's my dad.
I just love Gary. He is such a wonderful person. He was so supportive. We shot a lot of stuff with Gary that actually didn't make it in.
Yeah.
There was a whole scene after the abduction where, he was bringing out his guns, right? He got some guns because he was going to track down the guy. There was a whole storyline where Gary became a vigilante.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he he really worked out his acting chops.
Yeah, he did. He had acting chops. Just for time, we had to cut it. But I think that he thinks he's the star of the movie and that, you're kind of like a secondary character.
Yeah, that would be my dad for you. So all the stuff with him is pretty pure documentary. All the stories about him, like, sending off his underwear in lieu of mine to some customer. That's
the poor guy who got those, right?
Yeah. God, that eagle. I remember that eagle. So creepy.
Right. And then we kind of call back to it later. Yeah, I mean, whenever I watch it now, it is just such a blend. I mean, the fiction's inspired by your real life. Mm-hmm. There are little bits studded through that are real, but it's kind of in this fictional framework right from the start. And this kind of goes to the heart of, we were never really trying to trick people.
Right.
Or make them think everything is real.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to pull that off, really.
Well, I'll tell you what I think has happened is that we sort of unintentionally pulled it off better than we thought we would. Because I just thought no one would bite on it. I had this thing I kept saying, it's not 1999. This isn't Blair Witch Project.
Right.
The audience is so sophisticated and smart. Let's not try and trick them in any way. But then people do kind of get sucked into this first half and it feels real to them, And then obviously, because the story does go down the thriller path later and it gets a little more extreme, that's when people maybe have been like, oh, this clearly isn't real.
Yeah.
But in a sense, nothing is real. I mean, the first scene is pure fiction.
Right.
To me, it's just interesting how the form really dictates it. You shoot stuff like a documentary. I mean, everything you're saying here, this is a script. None of this is true.
Yeah, this one really surprised my roommate when I watched it with him. After he saw me describe this story, he was like, wow, you've never told me that. I was like, well, it wasn't true.
Right. But, it's this use of archival footage. It's just this simple sitting down, talking head interview. People just think it's real.
Yeah. And it's funny to read some of the more critical reviews talk about which parts.
What critical reviews?
Well, they'll be like, oh, this part was so fake. Why didn't they just stick to this real part?
Oh,
and they don't even get it right.
No.
They don't even realize
that's
is
the
real
best part. I mean, I have to say, we've been very blessed with good reviews.
Yes, they've mostly been really good so far.
I think it's been like 9 out of 10 have been good. And even the one that was bad was kind of mediocre,
But even the good ones, they'll have some critical parts in it. And that is where you see that come up, where they're like, oh, this was so fake. And it's like, well, that was actually real. Or like, I remember someone was like, oh, well, Sarah's just an actress. And I was like, well, she was also his ex-girlfriend of 10 years.
Right. I mean, I think that's the thing. No one really knows for sure. They're kind of guessing. But, you know, it's kind of like people will look at the form of this and say, well, that's all real. Mm-hmm. But this is as fake as the abduction scene later, or, you know, finding your body on the beach.
Yeah.
That was no more real. So to me, that whole thing about just the form is very interesting.
Yeah.
Used.
Used
Used to be called Ruin Me.
Yeah.
Now it's called Use Me. Mm-hmm. I've made the jump. I prefer Use Me. I think it's a better title.
Yeah, I've made my peace with it.
Okay, good. I know we've had this debate so many times. I struggled. I mean, to me, it was Ruin Me. Come on, It was Ruin Me for years. That was the movie I wrote. But
it's all right.
But here's the thing, right? See, there it is. The word addiction. Uh-huh. I like the connotation of using. Mm-hmm. Use me.
Yeah, it works.
It does work.
I get it.
There's something about it. But that didn't occur to me because really, when people say, "What's this film about?" This is a film about addiction. Yeah. I mean, that's really the theme.
This is our producer,
That is Jonathan Green. This movie would not have happened without him.
Yes.
He is an extraordinary producer. He's been my biggest supporter since I was 15 years old. I took my first documentary to him. I just shot some stuff in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Kid, come under my wing. I'm going to help you out." And I kind of sat under the learning tree. We made 2 documentaries together. He's one of my best friends.
So these are actual client interviews. You actually, I put out a tweet or something to that effect saying like, hey, anyone that wants to be interviewed for my documentary, have a mask. Let me know if you're interested. And I just handed them over to you. I didn't even know like what you asked them or anything like that.
I talked to those guys for like an hour or something, you know. And this is also the thing where people are like, "Why does the movie take so long?" It's like, well, that clip that was like 6 seconds, you know, that was like a 1-hour interview that had to be scheduled and researched and everything, and then a follow-up interview.
And then at the end of the day, you only use like a few seconds of it.
Right. That's kind of how it goes.
One of those guys actually asked me to ask you for the footage, and then asked for a custom video where I use the information against him in the video.
Oh my God. The life imitating art is
I know,
so good.
It's so good.
So he was like joking off and you were like, "I can't believe everything that you said."
Pretty much. And I edited in like parts of you know, the things he said that were more like sounded like confessions and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I made him a custom video.
Oh, that is so awesome. This is me kind of starting to fall for you a little bit.
Feeding my chickens. Just a simple farm girl.
Just a simple farm girl from Oregon. We wanted to get this bit in too about where you're calling me out for being a narcissist because, you know, we felt that my character was kind of unlikable to filming himself all the time.
Right.
Even though everyone does that. But yes, my character does that certainly to the point of a ridiculous obsession.
Well, also it's like you're putting yourself in the film. I think adds another layer of narcissism to it.
Yeah. You know what's so ironic is that now I've like written myself into a film. The first time I did it in a documentary, I had to be dragged kicking and screaming. I did not want to be in the film. Everyone was like, "You need to be in it. You need to have your voice in it." I just was so against it. Boy, things have changed. Remember this day?
Yeah. It was the first time going to the Grand Canyon.
We actually kiss after that, but that got cut. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
I thought it would be in the movie. I wasn't just trying to kiss you.
Yeah. Every day, Julian would be like, "Ceara, we got to redo a sex scene, redo a kissing scene." And
okay, we're going to get to the sex scene.
Almost none of them get
No, you wanted to redo the sex scene. There were 86 scenes that we shot. Mm-hmm. About 80. One of them made it in. We'll get to why we reshot the sex scene.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe Rogan.
Hey, Joe Rogan.
That's pretty cool. I love Joe Rogan.
Me too.
Congratulations, you did great. I don't know that he fully understood exactly what you do.
I don't think he knew what to do with me.
No.
By the end of it, I'm like, why'd you even have me on?
He was perplexed.
He was, yeah. And he was rushed, too. I remember he told me he was taking his daughter out to see a movie, so he was really crunched for time. So it was a very short interview. Well, for him, it was an hour, which seems normal, but his are usually like 3 hours. But fucking awesome to be on his show, man. I've been listening to him forever.
Oh, yeah, and we picked up a lot of fans along the way. We love Joe Rogan. Big shout out. He's awesome. Well, this was all real. We did a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was super
successful.
It's a lot of work. It was a full-time job for a month.
Yes.
I mean, you helped so much. You're incredible.
Yeah. Most of my clients helped.
They did, but then there were people who actually don't really know anything about your work or are even into it. They did too. A lot of my friends and network, came on board.
Yeah, a lot of just film people, film fans.
Yeah. And I think, it had challenges, because even people that are used to giving you money for a sexual service, it's a different paradigm to think, oh, okay, I'm investing in a film here. We kind of had to...
I don't think it's that different.
You don't think so?
No, because I think my fans want to see me succeed.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's exciting for them.
Sorry, I'm making noise here.
That's all right. I think that actually adds to their excitement and watching me build my empire and whatnot.
Okay, so look what's happening on screen here. That's a real thing that came to you once with references.
Oh, once, multiple times. This guy was... I don't usually do this sort of thing, but I do have a few make-out videos, and it's from this one client, and he always has specific people in mind, usually women, and he writes out these 3-page, really specific, do lots of tongue sucking, don't wear red, which is funny because I'm wearing red in this one, no jewelry, and tells me how to set up the light and all this, so... For this scene, we decided to just use the actual printout of his request.
Oh, yeah. I wanted the soul to be as real as possible. I mean, okay, so look, could we really do this?
Do what? A makeout scene?
Could we do a makeout scene for a client? Would someone pony up money to watch
sure.
this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that might help with my credit card debt. We should... Let's talk after we finish this commentary.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is a fetish, walk people through it again. Maybe the straighty 180s. Love you guys, but explain this. Cuckolding.
Straighty 180s. Yeah, so this is cuckolding. So the idea of the fetish is this poor, pathetic loser that I'm talking to on the screen right now can never get someone as gorgeous as me. And so I am going to humiliate him by making out with hunky Julian and rubbing it in his face, and it's all very humiliating and therefore very sexy and hot.
I feel like I should be the guy watching, but look, thanks. I always feel like I look like a mannequin when I'm sitting there waiting for the preamble. It's pretty hilarious. All my expressions were very genuine. I was actually thinking, what have I got myself into?
I do love just watching your face in the background.
Yeah, it's not much acting going on. I'm like, wow, now this is real. This was, this was a great day. I remember looking in my planner, and it said 11 a.m. sex with Ceara.
Nice.
4 p.m. WrestleMania 33.
Oh, that is a good day.
Yeah, I gave that day a 10 out of 10. In all seriousness, this is the most important scene in the film. I think the sex scene and then the conversation afterwards. So I was very determined to get it right. We did shoot a sex scene once. Give me your thoughts on that. We tried it and it didn't come across as well as we hoped, right?
Yeah, so you had this idea of maybe being more rough with me and more dominant, like sort of a, the tables have turned type thing. Mm-hmm. And I was all for it. I was like, all right, let's see how that goes. And we filmed that, and I felt like in the moment, I was like, this is really rough. And then when I watched it afterwards, I was like, Julian, you can't use this. Like, it looked bad. Like, it looked very rapey and assaulty. And I was like, I don't, in this era of Me Too, I don't think this is going to go over well.
Right. But okay. But it also was like that you sort of initiated it even in this context of that scene.
Yeah, but I feel like you would have had to keep explaining people that.
Right, no, exactly. It just kind of the angle, it was all too intense seeming, And then it was this thematic thing of flipping it didn't really work. So, this was a lot more sensual. Mm-hmm. And I love the scene. I'm proud of how we did this.
I like it as well.
And, to me, it's like what's implied is always so much sexier. I love that shot where we're actually out of frame and then fall into frame. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, I love stuff that's a little bit more suggestive.
I do too.
Sex scenes can get pretty graphic. You've seen Blue is the Warmest Color, right?
Right. I remember we watched that together.
Oh, yeah, we did. I mean, we looked at everything. We looked at Basic Instinct. We kind of went through every erotic thriller from like the 80s and 90s and broke down the formula and looked at the sex scenes. All of them seem to have 3 sex scenes. My producer said you got to have 3 sex scenes in the film. Originally, there were none. You were all for it when I said, hey, they should do a cuckold clip to raise money for the Kickstarter, and it turns into sex. Mm-hmm. And people seem to like that aspect of the film, of the kind of relationship.
Yeah.
It doesn't really become a love story. The first draft of the film was kind of a love story.
Yeah. And I feel like even the first trailer felt like that's what the movie was going to be about. Because
Well-
it ends with you saying, never fall in love with your subject.
That's right. What would I mean? It didn't turn into that movie. Why didn't it? It could have been.
I don't know. Why didn't it?
Why didn't
you
it?
You wrote it.
Oh yeah. It just didn't go in that direction, and somehow, I don't know. I mean, it just felt like your character would just not really fall, you know? It just worked better if I developed some feelings, but you kind of had no interest, and that, in a way, I was jilted, and that then provoked me to kind of look deeper or be harsher in the documentary that I'm making in the film and kind of dig deeper, and that sort of propelled the narrative forward.
I think that story's more interesting, too. Like
The one we told?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if it just turned into like a love story, it would have easily been cliche and corny and
A little bit, you know, and there was this terrible draft early on where it was almost like, not that you were saved, but, you know, maybe it was exploring that thing of, well, maybe she's not really happy in her career and she needs something else. And then it becomes like this male savior thing, like rescuing a girl from the sex industry. And as soon as...
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Right, there you go. And I was just like, that's awful. I don't want to tell that story.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I really like how I come off in this movie altogether. I was actually very worried about that the whole time. I was like, am I going to come across like a psychotic bitch? Am I going to come across as a victim? Am I going to come across as weak or, you know, or too fake or not human?
Yep.
And I'm happy with it. I'm happy how I came across.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled with that. You did an amazing job.
Thank you.
And we had a lot of honest conversations in terms of shaping that, you know? Because I wanted to keep you a mystique too, you know?
Where's
It's
your
sort
mom?
of like, that is my mom.
Your mom.
I know, I was just copying you. I have to do the American accent for acting all the time. It's terrible. It's really starting to kick in.
Yeah, so you got all your family to get in on
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Your mom, your sis,
Yep.
your ex.
My sister makes a cameo later. Yep. That's Sarah, my ex. So, you know, again, this is all
So was
kind of-
this real?
No, this was not real.
This wasn't?
Again,
Okay.
this is something that people say, hey, oh, look at this real footage. Well, no, this was just as staged as anything.
See,
but-
I actually didn't know that.
Right.
I
Well,
never asked you that.
Wow, you never even knew. No, this was a lot after, and we were kind of backfilling. But, you know, there's that genuine connection. And look, what it comes down to is just performance.
Yeah, she's so good.
She's terrific. That's real.
Okay.
That's a little clip from when we were breaking up. So, you know, again, I got it. This is not, you know, this was much later, backfilling. She was down for it. Just to explain, there was total consent here. You know, she had been through the process of making 2 movies with me in the past. And
She's a weirdo like you.
she's a weirdo like me. You know, yeah, she's creative. She's an actor. She's, you know, and I said, look, maybe we're going to use elements of what we're going through in this film and weave it in. And she just said, I love it. I love it.
That's amazing. I don't
Yeah.
know if I could do that. I'm a weirdo in my own way, but I don't know. I'm
It
trying
took
to picture
a lot
myself.
of trust. Well, I couldn't have done it with anyone that didn't have a friendship and everything. I mean, this was
Fair
real.
enough.
This was really the day that
It's such a good shot, too.
ended. Oh man, I mean, this bit's kind of as real as it gets in a sense. I mean, I did film knowing it would be in the movie, and she knew it would be in the movie. That's really us. That's our prom.
Aw.
I know, right?
There's a prom in Australia?
She wrote me this note for real. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is the part where my mom's like, she did really good.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
we
like,
were-
well, she was really breaking his heart.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't because of the camera.
So, what does the note say?
It really says, I love you, but I'm letting you go.
Oh, there's more to it than that, though, isn't there?
There is. Let's see what else it says. Go, my love. Wow. I mean, this is some of the most raw stuff we've ever done. I mean, I guess it's acting, but it's fueled by reality.
Yeah.
Took a lot of trust.
Yeah, do you feel like you were still kind of putting on a performance a little bit because the camera was on, even though what you're going through is real?
Man, I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, a little bit. We were shaping this kind of tragedy into something.
Yeah.
I guess that's something I do, to be honest, you know. I take terrible times and you end up writing a script about it or something. I mean, that's what a lot of, I guess, anyone who's an artist of any kind does. There's a tiny part of you that's always recording, you know, because you use it. Mm-hmm. And that's what this film kind of explores, about how we use life and then make it into art or social media or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about being addicted to filming, it kind of seemed almost not that easy to believe when we first started making the film. And then just with the rise of social media, this has just become more and more spot on.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's using people in their life to create content. So I'm glad the film's become kind of more relevant.
More
in
and
a
more
sense.
pertinent, yeah.
Wow. Switching gears.
Yeah. Do you remember how mad the limo driver was at you?
Oh, I gave him
scene?
like $100 at the end.
We hired a limo just to like ride around the block a few times and got a bunch of girls.
Who else is in here? Jessica, Goddess Jessica. She's awesome.
Jasmine, Meggers.
Meggers.
I saw, what's her face? Oh shit, I forgot her name.
Astro Domina.
Domina. Lacey, that's
All the
what I'm
big
trying
names.
to think of.
All the big names.
I want to say Gaga because she always has the Gaga hair, but she goes by Lacey.
This stripper was so nice. We were chatting
so
in between takes.
sweet.
She was from Oregon. She's like, where'd you grow up? Oh my God, I love that town. And then it was like, okay, guys, action, Julian, sucking tits on 3, girls dancing, Madison, move the camera.
Yeah, and it was actually like the middle of the day, and most of us were sober. There was one girl, I'm not going to name who was trashed, and thank God she was.
Oh, in the limo? Oh, yeah. Oh, she
actually
it.
brought the level up and
No.
like kind of got the energy up.
No,
Otherwise,
everyone was sober.
Yeah, everyone else is like 12 o'clock. We're like,
And again, this is like one of those days where it's like, Julian, come on, you really call this work? I was so stressed. We had just been filming a week in Vegas. I hadn't slept in a week. I mean, I felt like shit. I did not feel like partying, sober as a judge.
yeah,
I was
everything
like,
we filmed in Vegas was very stressful.
Oh my
it was
God.
like, we felt like we just had this one trip to get it right, you know?
Yep, because the party that's later in the film, we had just wrapped, and that was a big deal.
Right.
And then we kind of filmed all this stuff afterwards.
This is also one of my mom's favorite scenes. Well, the one where you're definitely not freaking out about how much money you spent.
This is
she likes that part.
This is so you, though, your performance here. I feel this is so accurate. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we just blew 30 grand. That's fine.
It's just money.
Just cavalier. And this is definitely me. I was really... This is me in crisis mode, I think.
I know, you're really good at kind of keeping your cards close to your chest. You don't really freak out outwardly.
No, I just
It's all-
implode.
Yeah, exactly.
So why is there a bridge here if they're driving back from Vegas? That kind of seems like they're coming from Washington.
Yeah.
You know what? Because it's a movie, everybody.
You're right. I didn't even notice that, and I live
good.
here.
It's a movie. Not completely realistic, but you know what? It was poetic, and it summed up the emotional state. So it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I remember filming this. Your car broke down that day.
Yeah. Someone told me to leave the headlights on.
Oh, man. Oh, was that me?
Maybe.
Just
I
to
don't know.
light
I
me
can't
up
remember.
a bit better? I need my
I
fill
feel
light,
like
babe.
you've broken down my car a couple times.
I have.
now.
I did. It was like smoking and everything. I feel like every time I borrow your car, I've broken it
You
down.
fucked it up.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. It's an old car. I've gotten rid of it since then.
And I just have to remember to drive on the other side of the road. There's just so much going on, you know. Again, Sarah, just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Just so good. Now, this scene is hilarious. This is probably your best scene coming up in the film.
Where
You know
I reject
why?
you.
Where you reject me. You were so hungover for real.
Yeah.
You just got back from Vegas. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
Did I just get back from Vegas?
You don't even remember. You were a mess. You were a hot mess, and you're so good in this scene.
Oh, thank you. I do remember being sick or hungover or something to that effect. And
Oh,
you're like,
both.
well, let's just use it because you're going to be hungover for this scene anyways.
Yeah. You had a party flu. So then I put on some like dark makeup under my eyes. I'm like, right, we're shooting this scene today because you're so fucked up. I'm just going to get on your level. I was feeding off you, you know. And is that really what you wear when you're recovering?
I mean, what? I'm just a sweater and some yoga pants.
Yeah.
My comfort clothes.
So the rejection. So look, I keep getting asked by journalists. They're like, so, you know, obviously one of the real aspects of the film is you really did develop feelings for Ceara. People just assume that's totally true.
You mean you didn't?
You know,
You're not hopelessly in love with me?
Well, no comment.
It was good timing for the water boiling. I remember that was an accident.
That was nice. That was a nice little happy accident.
Oh, look at all that booze on the thing. Oh, yeah, that must have been a party flu.
Yeah.
Must have had a house party or something.
Jilted Julian. I mean, look, we always kept it extremely professional.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know, and we have an amazing friendship. And it's kind of like, you know, honestly, I mean, what happened early on, Jonathan Green, the producer, really early, I'm talking like 2014 or something, he just said, just tell me. You sleeping with her? I said, absolutely not. And he said, good, don't. And I said, I never will. And it is important. You can't blur that line.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just... To make it all seem so messy and real, I think we really had to be very in control.
Right.
And of your persona. Even this stuff. This is very delicate because this is very ethically questionable.
Dodgy.
So it's like very precarious how all these scenes are set up. I love my beard here. What is that?
I hate it.
I know.
I think everyone hates it because it's like it's the only time you have a beard in the whole movie.
I know. It was when I was single. I'd come out of this long relationship. I was just doing a Tinder tour of North America.
You're in a beard mode.
I thought it was awesome. I was like, this beard represents my freedom. Now I look at it and I'm ashamed.
Freedom beard.
Yeah. I'm so ashamed of it. And it's a continuity error. But hey, you know what?
I mean, it's not too bad. Because guys can have beards and shave them. And
actually, the way we put a little time ellipsis in there, so it's kind of like he hadn't seen her for a couple of weeks. Maybe he was depressed and he grew a beard out. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But this was all real. You were kind of touring me through what would happen.
Yeah.
This is a real fetish. Guys want you to take money from them and go into their computer. Mm-hmm. But it's consensual how it's set up.
Yes.
I mean, the fiction here is
I would never actually take $1,000 when a guy tells me to take 100.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure.
Okay.
What would really happen is a guy would tell me to take 1,000 and then wish it were 100 after he came.
Nice.
Which it's still it's not as extreme, but it's still kind of that's what I pulled from in this scene here when I'm kind of going through it in my head. I'm like, I don't know if what I'm doing is really right because they say one thing and they mean another. And
yeah.
So, there is certainly some ethical gray areas in that sense of what is my responsibility? Do I need to infantilize these men and tell them how much they really should be spending, And,
yeah. And it's something I think people struggle with a little bit. People will think you're taking advantage of them. Mm-hmm. But again, some people just don't understand the fetish and that someone might give you $1,000, quote unquote, for nothing in return, and they think it's the best $1,000 they've ever spent.
It's true.
If you don't have any kind of masochism or a submissive fetish, you just can't kind of wrap your head around that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
This cameraman, we really broke him.
Oh my
it didn't make
God.
it in the film, but he couldn't believe what you do. He filmed that ball busting scene earlier on. We had to go out for drinks afterwards, and he broke down in tears.
Oh, he left the room. He filmed the ball busting, and he freaked out, and he started asking us if we were going to do this to our husbands.
Right.
And then he's like, I gotta go, I gotta get a drink. And then he went and had drinks with him, and he started crying.
Oh, yeah, he broke down in tears.
Yeah, he was
absolutely
really
broke down in
upset.
tears. It's actually in the original.
Yeah, you want to talk about someone that really doesn't get it.
Yeah,
that was that guy who was just really taken aback by it.
He was on one end of the spectrum.
I mean, just the fact that he said, are you going to do this to your husbands? It didn't even occur to him that the guy whose balls we were kicking really liked it.
Loved it.
That he came there for that reason, was paying for it, He just thought we were just mean bitches doing it for fun.
Yeah. We got so drunk in Old Town Vegas. It was great.
But yeah, you actually convinced him to let you film him when he was crying.
Absolutely.
I can't believe it didn't get used. It was so good.
It was good. Maybe it'll be a deleted scene one day. It's in the original trailer for a second. He's like, what is it? It's Inhuman. Hey, Jaslyn Yoder.
Woo.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Love Jaslyn. This was hard for her, this role. She's nothing like Cassie.
I know. She's such a
she's
sweetie.
The opposite. But again, to her credit as an actor, people are like, oh my God, who's that? Who's Princess Cassie? I don't know her.
Yeah, there were a few people at our premiere in Brooklyn that are in the industry, and they were asking about her. They didn't realize she was an actris. They thought she was a real humiliatrix. And,
there was the thought initially, do we hire someone else, who's really
someone like me?
Someone like you,
yeah.
A dominatrix. And again, I just kept coming down to performances, authenticity. That's what matters. And, for the role of Cassie and the role of Luke, I had to get an actor. Mm-hmm. There was too much heavy lifting,
Hey, fun fact. This is the first time Jaslyn kissed a girl.
God, she really got thrown in the deep end.
Smack her around.
So we have the same manager, Nicholas Bogner. And luckily he vouched for me. He's, really, Julian's, really great filmmaker. You can trust him because she hadn't read the whole script. She just kind of got the sides. And this was her first day. And it's like, this is a lot to go into.
She was really cool about it.
Totally.
Really easy to work with. Really, I hate to like blow the fantasy that she's my frenemy, but we just got along so well. She's so nice, and she's so just really personable and a great actress. It's really fun to work with.
So, and that whole interview bit where you were talking about kind of hating her and everything and her stealing your thunder, you were talking about someone that we won't name who kind of maybe was a little bit like a real-life Cassie. Is that true?
Yeah, I remember the question you threw at me was like, you asked me to think about someone that I don't really like in the industry, and then to just talk about her in a way without using her name. And that's how you got the footage of me talking about how, I don't really hate her, but she's kind of weird.
Anytime you start a sentence with, I don't really hate this person, that means you fucking hate them.
But I don't hate them.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of times you really try to pull out, like, what's the catty dirt in this industry? Like, who hates who? Like,
do I?
More than once. And I've had to tell you, it's like, it's really not like that. There's not a lot of cattiness. I mean, at least from where I'm at, like the people I'm friends with, I really am friends with.
No, for real, it is a sisterhood. It really is. Yeah, you guys are a beautiful community.
And if we genuinely didn't like someone, like we wouldn't spend any time with them enough to like develop a real hatred for them.
No, I mean, there's so much support and love behind the scenes.
Yeah,
that's what I love. I really think it's a beautiful industry. I mean, I love it. I love, man, whatever your fantasy is, like just go for it. Human sexuality is a rainbow. I'm just all for it. Like, I don't want to get all mushy here, but it's like, it's that whole thing.
Kumbaya.
Consent's the only taboo, right?
Shana.
She's great. She's a natural actor.
And
we did that in Vegas.
There's Domina Snow. She's my very good friend in real life.
But talking about how she didn't like you at first, that was all true.
Yes. Yeah, you got some good clips of her calling me a cunt.
Yeah, it came so naturally. That always gets a big laugh in screenings.
She, actually, I'm taking back a little bit what I said. We are kind of frenemies in a way. Not really. We're really good friends, but we jab at each other a lot, which just tells you how good of friends we are.
Exactly. There's some crazy nervous energy between Jaslyn and I on this day. I think I know why. So, movies are shot out of sequence. We actually shot our sex scene the day before. And it's, look, again, I mean, there's a crew there. You're adjusting the light. Hey, that light doesn't look good on Julian's butt. Let's just move that. It's like very unsexy. It's like 10 a.m. in the morning. But it kind of, it leaves you feeling weird when you do a sex scene. You can't just like snap out of it. So we were just kind of weird from that experience, I think.
Well, it worked for this scene.
There's a lot of chemistry I could feel in this scene.
Yeah. I like your open button shirt there, showing a little chest.
You're into that kind of thing?
No.
I think we just found out what Ceara's fetish is, everybody.
I just think it's funny because you come into this scene like being a little flirty and a little inappropriate. And
it's true.
It's like it was intentional. You're trying to look hot for her.
I guess so, right? Yeah, no, that's true.
And just the way you're sitting all casually, like, I'm interviewing you, but I'm also just a cool guy.
Well, I think the whole thing is almost like a mutual seduction in terms of the story, because it's like now my character's trying to really find some dirt on you, because it was all kind of like, hey, I'm filming her, it's all going great. Oh, she, I've caught some feelings, but she's sort of rejected me, and now I don't trust her because I feel she's actually being dishonest. So I'm trying to get the truth about Ceara.
Right.
But when you know what happens by the end of this film, Cassie is like luring my character in, right? So I like this scene. It's this kind of sit-down interview, but this mutual manipulation. She has a lot of dirt on these guys, and she uses it to get what she wants.
Yeah, she did really good at this.
I mean, this is the kind of thing you do as a documentary maker. This is all kind of true.
Yeah, you kind of push.
You're trying to push the boundaries, trying to get something that no one else has got.
Right.
And sometimes you charm people into that, or it can be a dirty business. I mean, I think I'm very transparent and ethical, but
you have to ride that line. Like you want to push so you get something different, but you also don't want to completely push your subject away or piss them off, or maybe some people do. I guess some people want that kind of gotcha, like emotional reaction, but you're not that kind.
I'm not that kind of filmmaker. I think that's a little bit shock shock value here.
I feel like that's kind of gone out of fashion too.
It has.
Which is nice because it feels slimy.
I'm not sure what to say. Well, this is you can see why, we'd shot this one the day before, and then the next day was that scene, so we're a little bit, yeah.
Nice.
Still recovering from that.
Julian insists that our producer, Jonathan Green, was the one that insisted that you have sex with both Cassie and me.
He did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no one's
Jonathan says I have to have sex with both of you.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know what to tell you. There is a formula. There are always 3 sex scenes in the film.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense because she's seducing him and kind of luring him in and getting him on side.
Mm-hmm.
You're not convinced, though.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This got pretty real. A little testy.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, I think you just told me to do it more mad.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
No, you're a pretty good actor.
Thanks.
Yeah, look, did things ever get heated with us?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, really.
No.
I think we've been pretty transparent. Communication's everything.
Yeah.
I think early on, I was maybe like in Vegas in 2014, I was trying to get you to sign the release form just because it's like, I can't keep working on this if there's no release. And I think you were a bit like, no, show me what you're making.
Right.
Which is valid.
Yeah. Yeah, but we never had a full fight about it.
No.
But yeah, you do make a good point. It's like at the beginning there was probably a little bit of, we weren't really sure if we could trust each other.
Definitely.
You weren't really sure if I would be reliable maybe, and I wasn't really sure how you were going to depict me.
You didn't know what angle I was going to take.
Exactly, yeah.
And then I
had a lot of people kind of whispering in my ear, like, be careful because, there's so many, guys like Julian, they just want to make us out to look like victims and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and I was definitely aware of that. And it's a story that's played out and has been done. I feel,
yeah,
sex worker that's a victim.
Totally.
But we developed the trust. It took time. If you look at the early footage, you're definitely a little bit colder to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I know you now in your body language. I just can see you're a little bit shut off. All these things take time. That's why documentaries take time. Mm-hmm. Like my first doco about Peter Durkheis, South African political satirist, wonderful guy. It took years because it was like to really get the good stuff, you have to earn trust. You can't speed through that process. It was the same with us. It took a year before you were really warmed up, and trusted me.
Yeah, and again, a lot of that just came into knowing what direction you were going with it.
Right.
Because we've just started filming right away before there was even a script or knowing what the story was.
And even the sex scene, which again, I really am so proud of that whole thing. I love the way that sex scene then flows into the kind of backstory of my character. And it was a really delicate scene to get right.
Yeah, and thankfully we did it more towards the end. The latter things we filmed.
We couldn't have filmed that right away.
No.
That was like a few years of trust went into that.
Right.
And even for you to show some nudity in the film, which you've never done before, which we thought was an important story point in terms of the transgression.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a big ask.
Mm-hmm. Joe Reitman.
Love Joe Reitman. And this is another thing. You hire the best actor for the job. Someone said, well, could you have just really got a client instead of an actor? Maybe, but are they as good an actor as Joe?
Yeah, and that really wouldn't have been someone reliable,
And that breaks the spell in a different way. And again, this whole thing of what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to trick people and make them think it's real? No. We're trying to tell a good story.
Right. Yeah,
Portland.
Portland.
Some of my greatest memories are here. I'm a real Portland guy now. It's been years.
I know.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, did you ever think you would settle down here?
No, not at all. I fell in love with this place.
That's pretty cool.
It's a magical place. It really is.
Yeah, I love it.
It's always going to have a piece of my heart. No matter where I live in the world, it's always going to feel like home. I would never go through your phone, by the way.
Oh, that's good to know.
Again, I would never do it again.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It is bad.
Thing to do.
Look, and this is the whole thing. My character, I kind of don't like,
Right.
I mean, he does unlikable things. I guess for me, I'm drawn to films where even if the character is not likable.
Well, yeah.
That they're compelling. I just want to see someone doing something. You know, I really love that movie Nightcrawler. You see that one with Jake Gyllenhaal?
No.
His character's a total unlikable piece of shit, but God, you're just hanging on everything.
Well, yeah. I think anyone that says, like, that criticizes a movie because the character's unlikable, like, you know, is a bit shallow in their thinking.
Maybe.
The point of a film isn't to like wholeheartedly your characters. That would be a pretty boring story.
I think so. And I do love that murky space where, hey, this character's flawed. You know, I can relate to them. I can see where they're coming. But God, they've got flaws they're working through.
Totally.
That's drama.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, it's almost like writing the worst parts of yourself into a character. Like, is this Julian me? No, I would never do things like this. But there's some seed of truth of like being ambitious and trying to make a good film, and maybe you are tempted to cross ethical lines to do that,
right?
You know, that comes from a real place. And certainly the obsession with filming yourself, like I said, I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah. This is very real.
I love that moment.
So this, I feel, is a little unrealistic. Only because if this were really happening and you were talking to one of my clients, he wouldn't just straight up FaceTime you.
Yeah.
You know, he would maybe like talk to you over text.
Yeah. Well, there was a scene that got cut where we had a bit more getting to know each other, and it kind of...
I mean, I feel like it's necessary for the movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. We did have some more steps towards this conversation, but again, you cut it for time.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess that thing in the edit room, we're like, look, we're making a movie. Let's tell the story.
Totally.
I mean, yeah, this whole thing, I guess people wondered, like, has anyone become disgruntled? Like, Ceara really did go too far. She did something I actually didn't want. That to me, you know, right when I first started filming you and doing the kind of what was a documentary, I was like, that's what this will end up being about.
Right.
That blurry line. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you're not going to tell me or the world if someone has. You haven't had any guys like Luke.
No, not like that. You know, you get guys that just kind of regret the decisions they made when they were intoxicated in arousal.
You ever give a refund to someone?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Shout out to Dot's Cafe.
Yeah, they were pretty cool about us filming there.
Yeah, they were nice. You remember this day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a fun day.
Yeah. I mean, I would never do something like this. This is pretty shitty.
Yeah.
This is the low point for my character. Because he's just trying to get something good.
Right.
He's trying to expose you. It's funny. There's this whole thing now with, you know, YouTubers and like, how far will you go to get a good video that's going to get a lot of likes? Like, all this stuff has become very relevant. Even like the... You know, what was it? I guess is it Logan Paul, you know, with the filming the dead bodies. There've been a lot of stuff like that where people are like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it because I know I'm going to get the views.
Totally.
And it's a slippery slope. I mean, where does it end?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I saw a YouTube video of a guy supposedly making out with his sister.
Nice.
Yeah.
You send me the link after this?
It wasn't on Pornhub.
Oh, okay.
People were like circulating it. They're like, what the fuck? Which very well could have maybe just been some random girl that he said was his sister. But it just speaks to that. Like, that's it. It's just watch me make out with my sister. And it's all just for the view counts.
Right. And what does it mean? I mean, this is thing I think, you know.
It's like fame at any cost.
Fame at any cost. But the world's changed. Because, you know, growing up, I'm sort of like, well, you become a filmmaker and your film comes out in a movie theater and that's how it goes. But now it's really about, no, you create content, you put it online. And
that's what's worked for me.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Not that I'm like a super famous person, but, you know, there is like this shorter barrier to entry now, you know?
Yes. But is it just about views at any cost?
Is what about views at any cost?
You know, like, is your whole drive just about, I've just got to be as popular as possible?
Oh, me? No, it's for money. I'm trying to make a living.
But also, I mean, you are catering to, you know, an audience that has a specific sexual need. I guess just people who are content creators that are not in the, you know, sex industry, quote unquote. There can be this drive just to be controversial. Sure. Just to go viral.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
But my drive is different. My drive is just like, this is what gets a guy off. I'm going to do it.
Do you have an end game? Do you have an exit plan?
No.
You shouldn't. You can keep doing this. You know, I mean,
we'll see. My plan is to save a bunch of money and have a lot of investments and be comfortable.
You're very smart. I mean, you know, you meet people who... I mean, often people will stay in this industry for like 3 months or something, and they generally burn through any cash they make.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily I've started young enough that I've had a lot of longevity, and I've been through phases where I was more reckless with my spending. And then I've managed to still stay in the industry and mature and use my money more responsibly. Mm-hmm. Not everyone has that luxury, especially if they start late or if they start, you know, like right now the market's so saturated. I think it's a lot harder to get started now than when I started.
I could see that.
So, you know, some people get started and then it's not as lucrative as they thought it would be, and then they just quit. And so,
well, you know, I think even friends of mine, like female friends, who sort of, you know, hearing about this film, and it's like, God, did I make a mistake not getting into this industry? But it's not free money. I mean, I've seen, you know,
it's usually more work than people realize.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like working in a coal mine. Don't get me wrong.
No, it's not. Yeah, physical hard labor, but it takes time that you'd rather be reading a book or hanging out with your friends. So that's work.
Has there been a price to pay for you? Do you ever think, oh, I wish all this stuff wasn't online? I wish... No, I haven't. I've never wanted to be president or like a teacher or anything like that where that would be an issue. So I'm fine with it. Cool. But
that is something to think of when something to consider for people that want to like get into the adult industry.
Yeah.
It's the internet's forever.
Would you have trouble explaining it if you have kids one day?
I don't think so. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'm not there yet. But I don't know. It's not something I worry about.
Yeah. See, even now we're even doing the commentary. I'm still trying to get you. I'm still digging for dirt.
Oh, by the way, I've been kidnapped.
Oh, yeah. We kind of stopped watching the movie for a minute. Yeah, you know, I think, it just kind of blew the story open to have this development, you know? Mm-hmm. And once I kind of went down the path of the psychology of if there was someone like Luke, you know, where could that go, you know? And that's when the film kind of moved more in this thriller direction. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Here it comes. The party scene. So ostensibly this is in Portland, but we really shot this whole party in Vegas.
Yes, this was probably the most stressful thing we ever filmed.
Definitely.
We actually put together a real party in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
It was called Women of Kink, and me and Domina Snow put it together. And yeah, we got a bunch of people in the industry, a bunch of fans to come in, rented a house. And it was like, look, this is a party, but we're also trying to film some shit. So, you know, we had to like move them around like cattle here and there. And
right.
But everyone was pretty cool with it.
Oh, everyone was awesome.
It went as well as it possibly could have, I think.
Yeah, but it's a little bit like herding cats or whatever. Because normally when in a movie, when you're shooting, you know, a party scene, it's actually like 11 a.m. and people aren't drinking beer, they're drinking apple juice. And it's like...
It's extras. It's not
extras, you know, and there's no music playing. It's like...
Yeah, you're not trying to film at an actual party.
These girls were amazing.
Yeah, so this is, I forget the one girl's name, but one's Cheyenne Jewel, who I've worked with before, and they do actual like erotic jujitsu.
Yeah.
But they're like, they really know their shit. Like they're real wrestlers.
They were covered in bruises.
Yeah.
They went hard. I'm so happy with their work.
Yeah, they did awesome.
Jolene is the other one, yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's
and
right.
the nicest,
I hadn't met her before, but she was
girls.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Oh man, yeah, this scene. I look fucking haggard in this scene. I was. The panic is real. You know, you just, again, it's like, can we have I've never really enjoyed a party with you. Like, every time we've done something, it's still filming, and I'm still, like, worried about my shot list.
Right.
Once we sign the distribution deal, let's really... I want to
have a real party?
Yeah.
We never had a rap party.
We never had a rap party.
Is it too late for that?
No. Hell no.
Okay.
I need that.
Maybe we should have it once it's like widely distributed.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because my thing was always just, you know, I want to have something to celebrate.
Yeah, for sure.
You know. Because it's like all these party scenes that look so fun. It's like they're actually stressful to shoot, you know?
I mean, I've often wondered if you are even capable of enjoying a party.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I'm a bit of a workaholic.
You
know?
are.
I think once the thing's distributed, I totally will. Hey, my 1 year of sobriety ended today.
I didn't even know you were sober for a year.
Yeah.
No drinking?
No drinking. It wasn't because I had a problem.
No meth?
A little bit of meth.
A little bit of meth?
No,
that's okay. We're not perfect.
The meth. No, I just really felt it's been a challenging year for me, honestly, and I just wanted to be at my best to navigate it.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you took breaks here and there, but I didn't realize you'd gone a whole year.
Yeah, I decided I'd do a year.
That's awesome.
A lot of benefits. You have to feel all your emotions, though. Yeah.
Fuck that.
I know. There's something to be said for numbing them, I've realized.
Yeah.
It's not a magic bullet sobriety, you know?
Mm-hmm. Let's see, where are we at? We got...
This is in Sydney.
Was it?
Yeah.
But isn't it... you did a voiceover.
The scene, so the footage is from Sydney. The dialogue is done in LA in a studio.
That's right.
Movie magic.
And then there's... This part's kind of, obscure, but he's sucking my toes right there.
Yay.
It's kind of hard to see it. I feel
Can't
like
you
people...
tell those are toes?
I don't think so. I had to
Wow.
see it a few times to really register. And I'm in the scene.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to kind of register what angle it was coming at, you know?
We just want to make it a little bit more blurry and menacing.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my real sister, Rewa.
Rewa.
I don't hit her up for money all the time.
Just a few times.
She's a surgeon, though. I mean, she's just, God, she's the most amazing
surgeon.
person.
I didn't
Oh,
know
she's
that.
a surgeon.
Wow.
She's the classic older sibling. You know, she was the ducks of the school, super reliable.
The ducks of the school?
Yeah, like the top academic performer.
Oh, okay.
Just exemplary.
Nice.
And then I'm just the crazy younger child,
Living in
making
her shadow.
movies. Yeah. No, she's actually a very talented actor and writer herself. She could have gone down that path, but she picked something a bit more reliable. So
Good for her.
good for you, Rewa.
And she's still in a movie, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, boy.
So the one thing I love so much about what is about to happen.
Okay.
The one thing I'm excited about is Cassie's apartment was filmed at my friend's house. And he hasn't seen the movie yet, and I have been teasing him for a few years now, but wait till you see what happened at your house.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I've really been building this up. And I
Oh,
feel
my God. His house is immortalized with this scene.
So is this scene supposed to be funny, or is it supposed to be serious?
I don't mind.
You
What
don't
do
mind
think?
either way?
Does it make you laugh?
It makes me laugh, and I remember when my friends saw it at the premiere, and especially my roommate was like, we were all laughing, but it felt like we shouldn't have been, because it seems so serious.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like it's better if people laugh at it, because if people take it too seriously, then it's just taken too seriously.
No, I think it's like nervous laughter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty messed up situation. I think it's just showing that my character is willing to sacrifice himself
Sure.
before immediately throwing you under the bus.
Sure.
Yeah, people have mixed feelings about that scene. I actually thought it was important for the story.
It's critical that I get butt fucked in this movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie falls apart otherwise.
Do we talk about the method acting?
Oh, yeah. How did you prepare for that scene, Julian?
I did do a little bit of research.
Yeah, go on.
Well, God, I don't know if I want this on the record. I did a little research on my own. I wanted my facial expressions to be accurate.
It's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Committed actor.
I am. This is in Sydney, too. Oh, boy. Spray tan. We both got spray tans.
Yes. Actually, I don't think I got a spray tan for this one. I
Oh.
did for the first one, and then we filmed it again, and I was
You
like,
look pretty tan.
Well, I'm a pretty tan person.
My God.
So raunchy.
That is pretty raunchy. That was the shot you worried about your family seeing, huh?
All of it.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried about my
I love
family
how-
watching me have sex.
I know, but what about your career? What about the fact that you're an online humiliatrix?
Here's the thing. People think that just because my parents know what I do for a living and they're cool with it, that there's just no boundaries. I think it is intrinsically... well, I guess I'm wrong because you are, you're the exception here. Or maybe you're proving this is wrong. But I think it's intrinsically uncomfortable to have your parents watch you have sex.
Sure. I'm about to go through that in Sydney because both my parents are going to come to the screening and see me.
So when I say I'm worried, it's not like, oh, they're going to disown me or be angry at me. It's just awkward.
I know. It's just funny because you're like a real life humiliatrix, but then you're just kind of having movie sex. It's
but I've also never sat down and watched my clips with my parents. You know, that would also be really uncomfortable.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. Hey, the Eagle's back.
But yeah, it is funny that you seemed way more chill about that than I was.
I guess, and I've like done sex scenes in films before, and you know, I guess my family or girlfriend know, hey, it's a movie, you know.
Oh, and by the way, my parents could not have possibly cared less. They're like, yeah, whatever.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Like, I felt I warned them like ahead of time, and it was funny because I just texted my mom and she didn't respond, and then I told my dad in person. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Wow.
And then afterwards, my mom's like, oh, sorry, I didn't reply. I read it. And then I think Jonathan asked her, he was like, how did you feel watching those scenes? And she's like, it's fine.
Wow. You worried too much.
I guess so.
Your little sister loved the movie, huh?
Yeah.
She was so supportive.
She did.
That's so cool. I'm glad your family liked it. I was nervous about that too.
Yeah. No, they loved it.
That's great. Do you remember this day? This was a hard day.
Yeah, the trailer park scenes.
Ooh. I was exhausted here. I'd have about 8 cups of coffee before we shot this.
Now, I would say I was raised lower middle class, but I was not raised in a trailer.
It's a little poetic license, you know.
But that's fine. It's my neighbor, Rick.
Yep. Good old Rick. No, these guys actually have names.
Character names?
Yeah. I think it was Travis and Dell.
That's right.
They did a great job, these guys. A lot of people thought this was real too, actually.
It feels pretty real.
It felt real on the day.
Actually, you know, I had a friend who came premiere, and she brought her boyfriend, and her boyfriend knew nothing about this movie or anything. And apparently he thought everything was real up until the gunshot that's coming up right here.
Which is astonishing.
Which is it's very strange that it was the gunshot that was like, oh, this is fake.
I mean, I can see, it's extreme. But, again, I mean, look, I don't want to get into this whole defensive thing. People are welcome to their own opinions. But, like, it's just a boring movie if you're trying to keep it low-key and let's make it feel real for 90 minutes. Let's not do anything that people might think is fake. Because it's like you just can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have some dramatic scenes.
Totally.
The stakes have to rise.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I think that
I didn't think that was over the top, the gunshot.
Look, I mean, if some of my Australian friends...
there are people that have guns in America. I don't know if you know this.
I saw someone pull a gun, outside Safeway the other day in Portland.
In Portland, wow.
In Portland. It was a road rage incident. A dude reached for a gun just like that. So I can imagine some Aussie friends might be like, that's a little bit unreal. I'm
really?
like, no. Live in America for a few years. I have seen I've fired semi-automatic guns. I've gone out shooting. It's just, they're everywhere.
I would think Australians would be more likely to buy it because like America has this, kind of reputation of being gun country.
I mean, look, I wouldn't... to me, the scene's not unrealistic, having lived here. I've seen people reach for guns pretty quick in broad daylight. So, no. I mean, I stand by this.
I remember one time, my old house, a cop came to our door and knocked and was asking us if we heard anything weird last night or any gunshots or anything. And we're like, no, what happened? And apparently, like, we used to live across the street from a park. Across the park, a woman was showering. And then all of a sudden she got shot. And someone has shot a gun and it shot through her house, through her bathroom.
Oh my God.
And hit her. She didn't die or anything. She just like hit her arm or whatever. But how fucking crazy is that? Such a freak accident.
God.
So yeah, these things happen, unfortunately.
Oh, I mean, it's all around, A Motel 6 the other day right next to where my girlfriend was working. I mean, there was a shooting. It's just,
really?
I don't want to even get into it. But yeah, it's a constant in life here, isn't it? It's a real problem. It's a tragedy.
Yeah. More guns than people.
Yeah.
So I remember shooting this day, and I remember not realizing where you guys were shooting and not realizing you guys were shooting in that trailer.
Okay.
And I like walked by the window.
Oh shit, that's
and
right.
AJ was like... like he's like telling me, like whisper yelling at me to get down.
Yeah.
And then we're trying not to laugh because we're just picturing how funny this scene would be if he saw me just walk by in the background, like wave the camera.
That would have been great. We should have used that. Wow. That would really kill it, huh? Kill the suspense.
I did that a few times on accident. I remember the party scene too. I was like trying to stay out of the way, and there were a few times I was like, "Oh fuck, the camera's
you definitely
right
made
there."
it on camera a few times. Then I was like, maybe we should keep that in. Like, she's actually at the party.
Yeah,
because this whole thing is really a narrative that they're crafting for my character.
right.
Staging these series of events, to kind of break them down. So, we never really explain exactly how involved you are in all this, and I'm happy with that. I have my own idea, but I like the audience interpreting that, and people have come up with their own interpretations of all this stuff, which is cool.
Really? I thought I was the mastermind of it all.
For sure, but then you think about the logistics of it all. The way it kind of works in the story is that there's always Luke or Cassie there pulling Julian along.
Right.
Some people can, compare it to the game. You ever see that movie with Michael Douglas?
I've heard of it. I never saw it.
To me, that is far more... and I love that movie. And again, I can just suspend disbelief. Hey, it's a movie. But that's a conspiracy of like hundreds of people or thousands of people. Whereas the conspiracy in this movie is really like 2 or 3 people.
Which is more realistic.
I mean,
conspiracies are usually just... the more people involved, the less likely you can keep it a conspiracy.
Exactly. It needs to be... And Jonathan Green always said, he's like, look, it's got to be as few people as possible.
Yeah.
So it's basically Luke, Cassie, or Rose. You see Rose calling and checking in on me a couple of times. Mm-hmm. We were very careful because people are going to rewatch this film and it has to all stack up.
That's right. Now that you mention it, I remember we were talking about this when we were discussing, like, there's a big issue with, like, the cops, and we were like, well, why didn't Julian just call the cops? And what if the cops are called? Were the cops in on this?
Exactly.
And yeah, we had to kind of script it so it was as few people as possible, because then once the cops are involved, that's when it gets
then it becomes
really
a cop movie. And I did write scenes. Jonathan said, well, show me what happens when the cops get involved. And it's just, it's like, God, I don't want to make this movie. I don't want to have a scene with him at the police station and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, my character tries to call 911 and then Luke calls him to interrupt it. So many movies would end after half an hour if you just call the police.
Very true.
So
yeah, it's actually amazing, like, how much we talked about that and how much I was kind of concerned about it. And it's like, it seems like so not a concern. Like, when you read the reviews or people talking about it, no one ever says, like, well, why didn't you just call the cops?
I know. There were so many things we worried about. No one really cared about.
It's amazing what you put your focus on and what actually matters in the end.
I mean, this whole sequence is a little bit tough to swallow at the time, but then in retrospect, it kind of makes sense. Like, again, Cassie is actually leading him through all of this. Once you've seen it once, you look back and you go, okay, so Luke or Cassie are always involved. They're always actually steering him and making him think that he's in control. He's really not, I'm glad your old friend let us use that archival.
That was actually my very first boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah. Michael. Shout out to Michael. Yeah, he was really cool about it. I hadn't talked to him in years, and I reached out to him. And I was like, hey, can we use this? And can you sign for it? And he's like, yeah, here. And he, like, you know how bad people are at getting back signatures. He signed it right away, and he was like, sure. So it's cool.
Do you remember this day? There were actually some whales that appeared, and hundreds of people came out onto the beach. We were trying to steal this location.
Your erotic whale documentary.
Yeah, it's coming along well.
Yeah, there was a whale, like, really shallow in the surf, and there's so many people just, like, crowd around, and we're trying to make this look like a secluded beach.
Right. It was, yeah.
And here I am, like, it was so funny. I was kind of nervous. I'm dressed in, like, a leather skirt and a red lacy bra. Like, no one looked at me. Like, no one gave a shit. Like, no one cared. And you had a big camera, and there's like, whatever.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I almost had a nervous breakdown. I think it's footage where I said, look, indie filmmaking, you can either laugh or kill yourself. Pick one. I was happy with these American Dream Vox Pops.
Yeah. I like this guy here.
A little bit of texture.
This is in Austin, right?
That is in Austin. The one before
I recognize the graffiti wall.
Was Wallace, Idaho. I get so obsessive, you know me. I was just like, I have to go to Wallace, Idaho. That's my small town that I need.
I love it.
Just wanted that texture in there.
Yeah, I like the Vox. What is it? Vox
Pops.
Vox Pops. Yeah, I like those too.
Man on the Street interviews.
I think you did good with those.
Oh, this was real. I was really crying this day.
Pussy.
Thanks.
No, why were you crying?
Relationship drama.
Sad stuff.
Yeah. I just channel it. You know, I could use it.
I remember a scene that didn't make the cut where you were crying and confessing everything you did. Yep. And I will never forget how you prepared for that, which was you first of all, paced around my living room listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had, I think you had Ceara. You called Ceara. And you had her tell you something, which I imagine she just brought up a bunch of relationship stuff. And then you started tearing up. And then, like, you put the phone down and it was action. All of a sudden, you were just, like, crying. And I wasn't quite prepared for it.
Wow.
Which probably gave you, like, a real, like, authentically, like, surprise. Like, holy shit. He's really breaking down kind of reaction. I thought it was a cool scene, but it didn't make the cut.
Maybe deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, it was kind of like... I mean, yeah, I really went there. I remember that. I just broke myself down. I was wrecked after that. 2 scenes of just complete breakdown. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just got to kill babies. It was like, well,
yeah,
you know,
it just
maybe
didn't
my
fit with the
performance
movie.
was real, but it's not right, you know?
Right. Yeah, it just didn't. We didn't go that direction with the story.
Exactly. And this is what it all comes down to: killing babies.
Yeah,
that's filmmaking.
I mean, there was a lot of scenes that I thought I did really good that just didn't make it.
I know.
And it's fine. I'll get over it.
One day.
It's my dad's house.
This is your dad's house. I like the scene, actually. This was hard to shoot, but I like the kind of mutual suspicion. There's a lot of layers here. Because I'm like, what does she know? Does she know about my involvement?
Yeah.
Is she lying to me? Does she remember what happened? It's kind of fun, all the different layers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy shooting this scene?
Yeah, it was fun. This was the day we brought up before where my dad was trying to be an actor with his guns and trying to break. I remember he's like breaking down and crying. Like,
oh yeah. No, it was a masterful turn from Gary, but we had to get the film in around 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gary.
Sorry, Gary.
You're really good in the scene. Oh, and your lips. Yeah, I remember we did have makeup and everything on the day. You look like you've been through a bit of an ordeal here.
Do I?
A little bit. Lips are a little bit pale. It's good makeup. Alison Binford. She's great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Wonderful. Did hair and makeup on the film. Just the best. Oh, now we're kind of surging towards the end, aren't we? Things are all starting to come together. More beautiful Portland stuff. Yes, I remember this next scene coming up. This was a pretty dramatic one where I'm confessing to you exactly what I did. Pretty bad what I did.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. What do you remember about shooting this scene?
I remember shooting a lot of really good stuff and using none of it.
What are you talking about?
I remember like really getting into just yelling at you and tearing into you and like getting so pissed.
It's true.
And then we just used footage of my cat being surprised.
That's true.
Which I love. I think it's hilarious and awesome that it turned out that way. I mean, that's movies for you. That's movie making, you know. You do one thing and then there's this accident that got filmed and that's what you use.
Right. And I think it's, you know, just as time's gone on, I've gotten more experience, just the less is more thing, you know?
For sure.
I mean, even that sex scene, you know, we shot all kinds of crazy kind of stuff, but then it's like my favorite shot is just the one where we're not even in the frame, you know, and the bed's just moving. And it's like, oh, that's more evocative.
No, I agree. And it's like, I mean, it's one thing from an actor's point of view when you're just like, you feel really good about a scene. It doesn't mean it's going to serve the movie, you know?
Yes.
Because as a viewer, like I have a really short attention span and I do not like long drawn out scenes. Like it's like just get to the point, make it snappy, like don't waste my time. So I totally get it.
Yeah, it's hard cutting good stuff for the benefit of the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean there were great scenes that got cut. There was some great documentary stuff that got cut. Yeah, and then we used... Yeah, there it is.
Where's my kitty? It's Hypatia.
She's really troubled, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. She didn't know what was going on.
I know. Stressed her out.
Oh. What happened? Who would have thought that her reaction shot would
I know, right?
be the highlight of the film?
I remember you telling me that. You're like, you know, I just left the camera rolling and your cat had the greatest response.
And you're like, what about all the good shit that I did? I broke down in tears and screamed at you. Yeah, but, you know, your cat just really nailed it.
I love it.
Still filming himself. This guy's got a problem. You know, he should probably stop filming himself. Oh. Yeah, this was a whole block. We flew Jaslyn up to Portland, and she was up for about, I guess, 5 days. There was a whole bunch of stuff in this apartment that never made it into the film as well, where we were like, oh my God, exploring the dark web and kind of, oh my God, there were so many scenes trying to figure out who Luke was and what his backstory was. And we shot like 2 days of it, and none of it made it in. And she was great in it. But again, it's that thing of, man, just keep the story moving.
Right.
Simplicity.
Yeah. No, that is the one thing I really like about this movie. I don't feel like it wastes your time at any point.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So it sounds like the pegging scene's the only one you kind of have a problem with.
No, I like the pegging
Oh, you
scene.
like it?
I just wasn't sure how you felt about people laughing at it.
No, I knew people would. It's funny.
Yeah.
But, you know,
was your intention to make it funny, or was it to be really serious? Because if you watch it like really quietly, it's very serious. But then that's kind of what makes it funny. But then you're like, oh, am I supposed to laugh at that?
Yeah, but if you put comedy music in, then that doesn't work either.
Well, yeah.
It's like, I think it was like Ash, the editor who won Best Editing at Brooklyn Film Festival. He's an amazing editor. Guys, hire Ash Watson for your movie. He will make it so much better.
Yeah, he's great.
Boy, did he make this movie better. The first cut I did was, not the best. Well, someone had to cull down the 200 hours of footage, though. So I kind of did that. That was how it worked. I kind of brought down the 200 hours to like 4 hours and then said, hey, Ash, let's work on this together. And flew back and forth to Sydney to do it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Ash took it over.
Yeah, because when I really think about how much we filmed, like,
I know.
It blows my mind. It's like, how did we whittle it down to this? You guys did. I didn't do any editing.
Yeah, right.
But how did it get whittled down to this? I mean, all the footage you'd have to like look through and like scan and... It's amazing.
Well, I had to do it first of all. And again, it's because it was shot with a documentary methodology, even though it's a fictional film. We shot it like a doco. We did it in blocks. We had a high shooting ratio, so...
Totally.
But, it was funny. I mean, what happened was, I remember Jonathan Green and I were sitting down. I was about to go to Portland, and we weren't that happy necessarily, not 100% happy with the script. It was like, we're good, we're close, but we're not quite there. And he just said, look, I think you've got to do it in blocks. You got to do it like Peter Jackson did with Bad Taste. Shoot a bit, and then we're going to reevaluate it, and then shoot a bit more, instead of doing it all in one block like you would with a regular movie. And that made it a lot better because it actually threw up a few new directions, like the sex scene, like the storyline about this guy filming himself. That really got honed more. So we didn't have a lot of money, so we gave ourselves time. You know the triangle?
Gotcha.
Time, money, quality.
Yep.
Pick two. Well, we said there's not a lot of money, so we're going to take our time.
Yeah.
And it made for a better film.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So this was kind of the alternative to that scene you mentioned where I completely broke down.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I didn't answer the door, so I couldn't let you to cry and blow snot on my lap.
Sorry about that. Boy, was it snotty. Boy, when people really cry, it's a snot fest.
No, this scene is great.
Yeah, this was a hard one to do. Thank God, Sarah Armanis is in the cast. Just killing it like she does. So yeah, this was actually shot in Sydney. Sarah was in a house nearby,
She was shot in Sydney.
She was shot in Sydney. No, I
No, I remember when we shot this.
Some of
We
this
went
is
to the
in
airport.
Portland, and some of it's in Portland, and some of it's in Sydney.
Oh.
Like right now, this is in Sydney.
Oh.
I know, right? You're learning a lot from this
Wow,
commentary.
Yeah. I had no idea. I thought this was all just when we went to the airport that one day.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it blends together really well because I had no idea that this was different footage.
Cool. That's good. I guess we should be talking, but you just kind of get pulled into this, right?
Yeah. This scene's so good. This part gives me chills when she says this.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, the film, it turned into something so different to what we expected when we started, didn't it? It really did evolve. Again, and that's the time factor. I'm not sure how good it would have been if it was made quicker. I mean, a lot of people wanted it to come out quicker, but...
Yeah. Myself included.
I know.
No, I think we took the time it needed.
It's great having a scene partner where you actually have all this personal history,
Yeah, I bet.
You can kind of feel it.
Personal history, but not so much, or not the type that makes it, like, impossible to work together.
Right, exactly, Yeah, I mean, luckily, she works a lot in Australia. I mean, she's a real actor.
She's a real actress.
Yeah, it wasn't just like,
Actor.
oh, she happened to be my girlfriend.
Right.
She's also a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she helps you. It's a lot to swallow here, but the audience kind of went with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thank goodness, because the whole film is pretty much hinging on this.
Right.
And I think she knew that when we were doing this scene. It's like, no pressure, but
this is the last scene.
yeah, whether or not the movie works is kind of dependent on your performance. Action. And you guys never actually met. You're going to meet in Sydney.
I know, I haven't met her yet. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to meet her.
Yeah.
Yeah, how weird is that? I'm in a movie with someone and I've never met him.
I know, isn't it weird? It's so goddamn weird. I'm just trying to surge to the end. Your coffee's really kicking and I just can't wait to use your bathroom.
I know, I feel the same way.
Oh my God.
We're like squirming in our seat.
I know, my bladder is just ready to burst. But we're getting close. We can get through this.
Yeah, this is your life.
Yeah, speed it up.
Oh my God, I love this young Julian footage. So
That's
cute.
me. I mean, it's so weird when I went back to this footage and it was like, hi, I'm Julian Shaw. I'm a documentary maker.
It's adorable. Did your mom have it? Like, did she like?
My
bring it up
dad
to you,
did.
or?
My dad, we had it on DVD. I remember it. They haven't seen the film yet. My parents haven't seen the film. They're going to see it in Sydney. No one has seen the film.
Just a small group of my friends, really.
Really? Yeah.
I
No one
mean,
in Australia.
We've only had, as we are recording this right now, we've only screened it in Brooklyn,
Right.
and that was a fairly small crowd. It's very intimate, so it's only
mhm.
like a couple handful of people have seen it so far.
Totally. And then it's actually going to be out online, and then, anyone can watch it.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Then we're really gonna get the reviews.
Yeah, exactly. The Twitter reviews.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we can stand by it. I think we're both proud of this film.
I am. I could definitely stand by this film, and I've got tough skin too. I don't care if people don't like it.
No, I mean, people must be mean to you on the internet all the time.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
My philosophy is just, in terms of any of the films I do, was it the best I could do at that point in time?
Yeah,
This is the best I could do at that point in time. Now, in 10 years from now, if I remade it, I'm sure it'd be way better.
sure.
But you can
That's
only
where
do
you're
your
at.
best.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
transformation.
that's right. Story arc.
Growth.
What you can never get if you're just following me around with a camera.
Exactly, right? It would be so boring.
No personal growth.
Oh, my God.
It's me
The documentary would
sitting
have
on the
sucked.
couch.
Holy
scrolling
shit,
the
it's
phone.
me!
What?
Plot twist. Oh, boy. Thank God it's the final scene. Because that coffee is just...
Bursting through your bladder.
Oh. Are we going to cross the swords after this?
Oh, we could.
Yeah.
Cross streams.
Look at you. That's me asleep in the background. A lot of people miss that. I'm in there.
How did they...
Just doing a little foot
How did
show.
I miss that? Because I walk towards you.
Well, I think just when they first see the shot.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We didn't have
It's
a lot
easy to
of
miss.
shots of your feet. Your feet are very famous and beloved and
Yeah.
popular.
They're actually not that pretty, though.
What are you talking about?
I have like a weird, like my second toe's really
the best feet.
long.
They're
I always
terrific.
shoot from the bottoms because that's a good angle.
Yeah, but the soles is what everyone loves.
Well, some people like the tops.
Oh, okay. Freaks. You're known for your meatiness of the sole.
Yeah,
and
meaty soles. I never knew I had meaty soles until
Yeah.
I got into this business.
meaty and wrinkled. These are the terms that we all use.
We, huh?
Well, let's not delve in too much. Oh, this was really early footage. This was like actually the first day.
Probably the first, yeah.
I
one of
love
the
that it
first
loops
scenes.
back. I love this footage. That's just you getting ready. We're about to shoot. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize till after this was all edited together how much you filmed me just sitting there.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome. Now, that's my favorite line in the film. Full credit to AJ Gordon, co-producer, unit production manager, extraordinaire. Because it was going to end with just us there in silence. And
Actually,
then,
I love AJ, but that was my idea.
oh, was that
so
your
you're
idea?
welcome.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay. AJ, I
Credit
still
me.
love you.
That last scene was like...
It
cool.
just needed something.
Well, I wanted to point out with that last scene, it just kind of looks like us cuddling on the couch. But man, we got some serious like lighting from the outside
Oh,
and
yeah.
that American flag.
Oh,
like
yeah.
there was a lot to kind of prepare for that. just that one shot.
Fake number plate. That is your car, though.
Yeah, not anymore. Got rid of it.
I think we might have to call it quits before the credit roll.
Oh, no. Well, let's wait for Maddie.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he ends it so well.
These kids were real. They were actuals.
Did you get him a center release?
Um...
Pause.
Anyway. All these names wouldn't be possible without you. Thank you to everyone who helped make this film. It's been a dream come true.
Woo!
Love you all.
My name.
Ceara, best creative experience I've ever had. You've been amazing to work with.
Thank you.
Final cameo from Madison.
All right. This is awesome.
Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
What did you find along the way? Well, your friends have left you again. They didn't want to hear you say